Student loans are one of the biggest decisions people make early in their lives before they fully understand their own personal finances. Once you're out of high school, people are choosing schools, dorms, meal plans and lifestyles, but half the time they have no idea what the bill is going to look like once they actually graduate. College can be a great investment for your future, but a lot of times people don't do it correctly. A lot of people treat student loans like fake money while they're in college and then act shocked, after they get out that they have an insane amount of student loan debt. They never looked at the balance, they never checked the interest, they never made a payment while they were in school. And then they act like the debt just came out of nowhere. So in this video, I want to talk about, student loans, how people can do them better, some things I like, some things I don't like. And just to be clear, I'm not saying I'm against college. I just think people can do it in a more financially intelligent way than they do. For a lot of people, college is treated as the next step in their education. There really isn't another option. It's just, I'm going to college. A lot of times, you graduate and everyone asks, where are you going? And it's, what school are you going to? Not, does this financially make sense for me? And a lot of people never compare, cheaper options. There's things you can do. And I'm in full support of going to college. The problem is not always the student loans themselves. It's taking them on without a plan. The first thing I see a lot of, and I have an issue with, is people not looking at their loans while they're in school. They just ignore them altogether. They don't know how much, they've never made a payment. They click accept, sign on the line, go to class and live their life, and they have no idea the real number in mind. I know a lot of my friends, including myself, we made payments on our student loans all throughout college, and I think that's the smart way to go about things if you're going to take loans out. And I'll get into the criteria of which I think you should take loans out. But yeah, making payments on them while you're in school or just paying your interest off is a great way to stay ahead. It keeps the loans from inflating while you're in school, or even might shrink them if you're paying more than just the interest. Ignoring the loan for years isn't going to make it disappear. It actually just makes it more painful. People sometimes ask, how much is too much student loan debt to have? I stand by the rule that you should have less student loan debt than your first annual salary. If your first job is paying you $45,000 a year, you should not have 6 figures of student loan debt. But maybe you come out making 80 and you got like 75,000 in student loans. That's totally fine. I'm in full support then of you getting that college degree. The next thing I see a lot is people going to out of state or like super nice private schools. I'm all for going to like an Ivy League school if you get in or something like that, but there's some small private schools that aren't even that great and they cost like a fortune. Like I said, too, out of state schools, there's like literally no reason other than that you wanted to go there. Like just go to the state school in your state. Like, I don't know. I don't get why it matters that much. College is an investment in your future. And if you're just picking a school because it seems fun and it's not financially smart for you to go there, then what's the point of getting the college degree? Because I guarantee when you're 28, you'd much rather have no student loan debt than cared about the view while you were on campus. Me personally, I'm just not that interested in like the social and that aspect of college. Like, just go get your degree and go get a job. I feel like it's super transactional, but for a lot of people that's not the case. So I say that I disagree with going to an out-of-state college if you just really wanted to go there, but it's your life. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I would just say that just go get a college degree somewhere else, obviously, unless this is a really nice school like you got into Penn or like Stanford. Go do that. The next thing I want to talk about is getting a degree with no career path. So I'm in favor of student loan debt and it's under your starting salary if you're in certain fields. If you're in any health sciences, business, engineering, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. That's about it. If you're going into debt to get a degree that is not in one of those, don't go into debt to get it. I'm all for learning about, history or art or whatever, but don't go into debt to learn about those things. I'm not saying that they're worthless degrees, but they just don't have a great ROI. If you're taking out student loans, that makes the ROI even worse for you. Just because you love something doesn't mean you're going to be able to pay your bills off of it. And I just like to think realistically about those kind of degrees. So I'm full support of the degrees I mentioned. And if you're going into debt to get them, as long as it is below what you're going to be making your first year out. I think college is an investment and you have to treat it like one. Before you get into college, you should be asking yourself, what does this degree lead to? What is the starting salary? How much debt will I have? What will my monthly payment be? Or is there any extra costs that go along with school? If you were going to put an investment into something, those are questions you would ask about it. So we should be asking that as well about college. Once you graduate and your loans start, the payment starts kicking in, there's really 2 things you can do. You can just sort of pay the minimum, or you can really attack the debt with any extra money you have as well. And I think if you're in a severe amount of debt, I'd say over $20,000, I would say that you should severely try to bring that amount down as fast as you can to get debt free as soon as possible. Now, if you have under $20,000 lingering in debt, I would say pay the minimum or maybe a little bit more than the minimum, but not like double or triple the payment. And I would be investing as well. Obviously, it depends what the interest rate is on those loans. If it's really high, then I would get those ones done first and then maybe go to investing a little bit. Right when you're out of college is one of the most important times in your life to get money in the market. So if you have a small student loan balance, take your company match, maybe put a little money in your Roth IRA while you're paying your debts off. I think you should be doing that. But if you're anything over, 20,000, it's a gray line. I mean, it depends how much money you make. Like if you're clearing, $150,000 a year, then, and you're $100,000 in debt, maybe you could be investing a little bit as well. I don't know. It's kind of a gray line, but if you think you're in more debt than you should be, then you should probably just focus on your loans. And obviously, this is all just my opinion. If you want to figure out a plan for yourself, go see a financial professional, because I'm not one. But yeah, these are all things that kind of bother me about this process, the student loan process, and what people are doing in their behavior. I think a lot of it's really unnecessary, and there's better ways to go about it, like I talked about in this video. One thing that really does bother me as well is you go on like TikTok. I just saw like a TikTok of this the other day, but it's just like someone complaining about like how much student loan debt they're in, and they're like their balance is going up because their payment's not big enough to cover the interest, and it just keeps getting larger and larger, and they're like really upset about it and things like that. And they're just like, oh, I didn't know it'd be this bad. And yes, they were like 18 when they signed, but like they did sign the paper. Like it's like I feel bad, but like you have unlimited knowledge at your fingertips with AI now, and just Google an student loan calculator, and you can get your monthly payment like that. And people like talk they didn't know. It's like, well, you didn't even try to figure it out. Like I could see if it was a super complicated process and it was impossible to figure it out, but it's not. Like it's literally a Google search away from figuring out what your situation's gonna look like. But like go on TikTok and look up just like student loan, like people crashing out over their student loans. It's just sad because the lack of financial knowledge, it's just disheartening with the generation today I see. And that's kind of part of the reason I started the channel, is just to talk about this sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm big on, taking accountability and being proactive in your own life and taking control of your life financially. So I would encourage you, go watch those TikToks and see what I'm talking about, and don't be like them. And yeah, that's just my opinion on, student loans and the behavior behind them and some of the mindsets people are in with them. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.